Hello my friends, I'm Sarah. Welcome to Grace in My Space. Today, we're going to build some Ikea Pax cabinets. Now my channel does not typically do step-by-step tutorials on items like this, but I received these for my mudroom and there were no directions to take you from start to finish, including the interior, that I could find anywhere. And so I wanted to provide this resource for you guys, and this is kicking off the first portion of our mudroom makeover. So let's get to work. Now I'm assembling the 4-door Ikea Pax Flisberget, sorry about the pronunciation, wardrobe. Now the orientation of these panels does matter. You have a front and you have a back. Your front finished edge should be facing each other right in the middle. Your back unfinished edge should be facing the outside on both panels here and here. This is what the corners of the bottom panel is going to look like on the inside edge, mirrored on the top. The outside edge is going to have 3 holes here, which you can see lines up with the unfinished edge, which is your back of your panel. These 2 pieces are going to be your support brackets for the bottom edge of your cabinet. And then you're going to have 2 pieces that look like this that are the top and the bottom. If you have V-pads, now's a great time to get them. Start by getting out the biggest packet of hardware. You can leave the others in your box for now. You're going to start by installing 3 screws on top of each panel and 3 screws on the bottom of each panel. This is your inside edge. You're going to install 1 screw on each panel on the inside top hole. So you've got 1, 2, 3 holes. Do it in the middle. And then at the top of each panel, you're going to install 1 in the middle. And then on your outside unfinished edge, you're going to install 1 on the very top corner. To finish out your top edge, you're going to grab this bracket and small screws. We're going to put them in the 3rd and 4th hole down. And so this is what your left panel should look like, with the unfinished edge on your left side, and your right panel with your unfinished edge on your right side. We have the top done. Now let's come back to the bottom half. And now on the bottom you have each one 3 up and on the outside edge, in the middle, and on the outside edge. Next up, grab a hammer or a rubber mallet. I would recommend a rubber mallet, but all I have is a hammer on hand. So we're going to take our dowels and we're going to pop them into 4 different pieces. These are going to be your top and bottom support pieces to create the frame of the cabinet. Two dowels here, 2 here, and the same on your back panel piece. Now I'm going to lay the top and the bottom panels the same way so that you cannot see the unfinished edge. It's on your left, facing down, and these 2 holes are on the top. Open your second hardware bag and pull out 2 of these pieces. We're going to take those, and you're going to feel like you're going to ruin your cabinet, but you're going to nail them right into this until it's completely flush. Then you're going to take these 2 pieces, you're going to pop the unthreaded side into the black cap and screw that right in. Sorry for the wide angle, but go ahead and flip that up. And now you're going to see you have 3 holes on the bottom. That's where the screws that you put into the top and bottom of the panel are going to go in. And then you also have 2 dowel holes on each end. You're going to put your dowels on each end. The right side is going to line up with the screw that you just did, and the left side is going to be 1 hole in. Repeat for both panels on both sides for a total of 4 dowels on each panel. Now, when you get to page 13 of your instruction manual, this is going to be one of the most important pages for your entire build. If your ceilings are 95 2/3 inches tall, you will not be able to stand your cabinet up if you build it on the floor. If they are anything taller than that, you can build it on the floor and stand it up. This is a very precise measurement and it matters greatly. If you have 95 2/3 or less ceiling height, do not build your cabinet on the floor. My ceiling height accommodates this, so I'm going to be building on the floor today, but if yours does not, turn to page 20 and do it like this. Now, I have built these both ways. I have built 2 cabinets on the ground and I have built 1 standing up as an individual without help. If you can build on the ground, it will help you greatly. If you cannot, you're going to struggle a little bit, but it is doable to build this standing up by yourself. You're just going to have to be a little bit patient and be ready for some frustration. Now, I am at the bottom of our cabinet panels, and this is where we're going to start installing the side panels that will give it more stability and structure. These feet, which we screwed in a little while ago, are going to be at the front of your cabinet. So when you install it on the back panel, make sure that your finished edge is matching up with the finished edge of your panel. So we're at the bottom of our left panel, and we're going to face the feet inward and line those holes up and push down. Now we're going to start installing these. You're going to walk around to the inside of your cabinet and place them inside of each hole. You'll note that inside of here, your screw is facing upwards, and so you have to orient the inside of your bracket so that you can accommodate that. And this little arrow pointing down is how you'll know how to do that. Just use a screwdriver on these ones and do 1 simple turn to interlock the screw with the bolt. Next, we're going to install the face. Now, right now we are at the floor. We're on the floor of our cabinet. This is what's going to be on the floor, and so your finished side, you don't want this, you want this. Your finished side needs to match your finished side, and you're going to insert it into the 2 holes. You should not have any overhang. It needs to be flush. If you have an overhang, it means you just need to flip it over and pop it in so that everything is flush. So everything should line up perfectly. Then you're going to take your back piece and pop that onto the back the same way, completely flush. And from the top looking down, this is what it should look like. Now we're going to come to the top, and again, inside finished edge matches inside finished edge, and you're going to put it right up on top of the same panel you installed the floor on, and just fit it in with those screws. And now you're almost done with the frame. So you have your floor, you have your ceiling, and then we're going to flip this piece on top and connect the entire structure. At this point, you're going to want to make sure before you do anything else that the front edge of your entire panel is all finished. If you have any mismatched edges on the front or back, then you've installed it incorrectly and you need to flip one of these pieces over and then move forward with the rest of it. Now, if you have help for this next part, then that's fantastic. If you don't, it's still doable. Just make sure that you're matching your front edge to your front edge and your unfinished edge to the back side. We're going to flip it up, we're going to pick it up, and we're going to set it down. And it's going to work out beautifully. Okay, it is. Now, start by crouching. It's a little awkward. Get yourself under it. Line up your top holes first because there's only 3 of them. Now don't force that top down until you get the bottom lined up, otherwise you're going to make it all wonky. Before you force the bottom half, make sure that both of these smaller support panels are lined up correctly with the dowel holes, and then just push it all together. You might need to put your weight on it. Just make sure they're lined up, Because if you put your weight on it and they're not lined up, you're gonna bust through the top of your cabinet. See? Told you we could do it. Last 6 screws. Talking to you over here too, you know. You're gonna climb right on inside there and put 6 of your screws in the top that you just had it on. When you're doing this, make sure that it's pulling this seam completely tight. You just did the hardest part. Now, if you oriented everything the way that I did, this should be your finished side. We're gonna flip it onto our finished side, make sure everything's square, and add the back panel. All right, now we have this really flimsy back panel. Make sure that you're putting the beautiful finished side face down, so that when you are nailing it in, you see the ugly brown unfinished side. Ask me how I know. It should fit really seamlessly and tight. If it does not, and it's all cockeyed, that means that your cabinet is not squared. You should check and make sure it's squared regardless. But if that back panel is not fitting, then you need to adjust before you go any further. Also make sure that your panel is lining up the holes so that you can secure it to the wall. Now you have this little additional tool. Stick your nail right in there and use it as a guide. Not only does it hold the nail in place for you so you're not smashing your fingers, but it also gives you the perfect depth so that you're nailing into the right part of your cabinet. Start by doing 2 nails on each corner to make sure that the entire panel stays plumb while you're nailing the rest in, and space the nails about 5 inches apart. Now before you stand it up, make sure that these are no further down than what the lip of your cabinet is, because if you have them extending out when you lean it up, they'll break off. We're gonna shimmy this into place. Now I'm putting this in front of an outlet, but you shouldn't do that. I'm actually going to be moving the outlet when we renovate the entire room, and it will be uncovered. But another option you could have if you needed to keep your outlets open is just to cut an access hole in your back panel. Jigsaw. And you could even have, like, one of these could be a built-in vacuum storage with plug already in it and everything. That'd be fantastic. Right. We've built our shell. Now you do need to secure your units to the wall and to each other, but you can do that when it makes sense for your specific project. Now the most important thing when you are installing all the interior of your cabinet is that you leave the holes open for your door hinges. So if your cabinet is just a wardrobe with one hanging bar and no interior shelves or drawers, then the cabinet hinges will not be impacted. But if you are installing drawers, your cabinet hinges will impact where you can place them. As you can see, if I had installed the drawers or this rolling bar any further down, it would impact where the hinges are, and then your door would not be able to hang properly. So from the bottom, your hinges are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Holes 3 and 4. And then you can line up the rest from there. Before you install anything on the interior, make sure that your cabinet is completely level. And 1, 2 screws back is where those leveling feet are that we installed on the bottom panel. Just screw that down until it starts to raise the cabinet the direction you need to go. You do want the feet on the floor to give some extra support to the cabinet in general, so make sure they're touching and then you can adjust as needed. For the basket slides, you want the wheel in the front and you want this edge right here in the front as well. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to avoid the hinges. Make sure your basket and drawer slides are all completely flush with the side panels. Install all 3 screws on your basket slides, and I found that it's easier to use an electric drill first, but finish it out with a screwdriver so that you don't damage the fiberboard. And then your basket has 3 holes on the back edge. You're going to take the top piece that looks like this, pop it right into those 3 holes. Take the bottom piece, push it until it clicks. Now you may find that it clicked, but it's not all the way flush. You need to make sure that middle piece also clicks into place. Now we're going to assemble some drawers. Start by putting dowels in each side. Then 4 screws. Now your finished edge should be facing you. Put it down and then stand straight up. Place side panels on each side. Fit the grooves in and the screws in. Take your connectors, put those in each side. Now take your top piece. You're going to want to start it straight up and then just lay it flat. And then put in 4 of these plastic things that you're going to be shocked it's going to hold it together. Put some resistance on both sides. You want your seams to be completely flush. Repeat the process for as many drawers as you have, and you will be surprised in no time. You will not even be thinking about the process because it's very straightforward. Next, you're going to install your drawer slides, and these are literally the only piece that say left and right on them. Makes it easy. Your slide is going to take up 2 holes worth, so I'm going to put mine right above my basket. Now, using a driver can over-tighten, overextend these screws, especially in this really flimsy fiberboard. So I use a screwdriver to hand tighten at the end so that I'm not causing damage to that panel. Now the final step, pull out your slides, extend them fully. And at the back of your slides, you have 2 little hooks, and you're going to hook these holes on the bottom of your drawer into those. And now on the front side of each drawer, you have another little set of hooks. Place that metal bar bracket right on there. Line it up with the hole. And then take your plastic plug and secure it. Do that on both sides. And on the back, this is what it should look like. And now you have a complete slide. Now I chose to do a basket on the bottom, 3 drawers, a shelf, a wardrobe bar, and then another shelf. Your configuration is going to be completely up to you. If you want a basket at the very top, put a basket at the very top. Just make sure that you're taking into consideration where the hinges for your door go. I'm gonna build 2 more drawers and then I'm gonna show you what to do for a shelf.
The shelf is very easy. You have these simple brackets. That hole is going to be where your shelf lies, and this is where you're going to push into your side panels. Make sure that as you are pushing these in, you're lining them up so that they're all on the same level. It's very easy to get one off. Push all 6 in and secure with a driver. And again, I like to get them in with an electric driver and then finish with a screwdriver, which actually is really helpful because you need to turn them in the direction so that that little tab is oriented up, and then your shelf can slide right in and down on top, making sure that all 6 of your holes are lining up and they're completely flush and level.
And when you go to do your wardrobe bar, it's very simple. You just assemble the brackets on the middle line of holes, wherever you want it height-wise. But when you open your wardrobe bar, you're gonna say, they didn't give me any screws. Why? Why do they have to do that? I mean, at this point in the project, you're probably really done. Just make them visible next time. Now, when you install your wardrobe bar, there's a little notch on the inside of your bracket, and there's a little hole on your pole. You need to make sure that those fit together and clip in, otherwise it'll easily pop back out.
Make sure your bar placement gives you adequate clearance for your hangers.
Last step is to install the door. One thing to note with this, the 2 middle brackets are going to look like this for your hinge. The top and the bottom are going to have this little gray tab. So make sure you put this on the top and the bottom. Simply screw in and then screw into your cabinet. Now, if you have something in the bottom, I had the basket, but if you have a drawer, take those out to install the hinges. It's much easier than trying to work around. And the beauty of these cabinets is that the doors can be installed either direction. So I want mine to open like this, but if you want all of yours to open in the same direction, all you have to do is flip the door over and orient your hinges on the side that you want them to go on. The easiest way to install these is to start at the bottom, just to get your holes lined up. Remember, you're using the 3rd and the 4th hole from the bottom, and then screw in the middle hinges, and that way the middle is supporting while you finish out the top and the bottom.
Now, depending on what you've customized, you may have additional or different interiors, but my cabinet is complete. The final step is installing the hardware. You can purchase your hardware anywhere. IKEA does sell affordable and beautiful hardware, but I chose to go with a much larger handle than any of the options on the IKEA website. It's almost a 13-inch span, and I think it adds a lot of elegance to this space. I used a template tool, which was very helpful to line up the holes so that every cabinet will have identically spaced handles so that when they line up, they look pretty amazing. It's best to install your hardware once all of your cabinets have been secured to each other and to the wall so that you can ensure that every single door has the hardware installed at the same height so that they're completely symmetrical and they look great when they're all together.
As you can see, there's a lot of flexibility with these cabinets. You design it on the IKEA website and then you install it based on your designs. And I was able to even raise this shelf and raise this bar to accommodate my husband's extra long jackets, whereas the kids and I have a lower bar, easier for them to reach, but also we don't need that extra space, so I can put it up top instead.
Michigan has all 4 seasons that we need gear for, and our last home, we each had 1 drawer total. That was it. Now with these, we each have 3 drawers and a basket and a wardrobe bar with 2 shelves. This is amazing storage.
I hope that this tutorial has been helpful for you if you are also installing IKEA Pax into your home with these specific doors, with the interiors. I added these beautiful handles in my description linked for you, as well as the hardware I used to install them, since they are almost a 13-inch spread. Now make sure to hit that subscribe button because this is the very, very first baby steps of this mudroom remodel, and we have a lot to go. I'll see you next time.